Welcome everyone to Empower for X BizGrams. You'll notice again that Ryan Knight is taking over the airwaves, subbing in for Chris-Beth. And I'm so glad that she chose today for me to sub in because our guest today I've known her for almost 10 years, and it's amazing that it's been so long because I met Kara Morgan when I had first started detailing nights. And as a young entrepreneur, you're going out and networking and trying to get some support from the City of Brampton Entrepreneur Center. And so we met at one of the networking events. I believe it was either Rose Theater, no, City Hall. Was it City Hall, Kara?
City Hall.
Yeah. So it's amazing that we've been able to keep in touch. As we started ACBN, Kara was one of the first supporters at the first event, has been a member since day one. So it's a true pleasure to be able to chat with you today, Kara. Welcome to BizGrams for a second time.
My second time. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here and very happy to be speaking with you as well. Yes, it's been a journey. And
for those that don't know what you do, please tell them more about outsourcing PlanIt solutions and also the blinds or anything else that you're working on.
Okay, sure. So PlanIt Efficiency Solutions started probably in 2012, so almost 9 years ago. We started off as a virtual company helping people with administrative and the back end stuff. And over the years have evolved to become a platform where startups, service providers, and larger companies can get support with their efficiencies, their automation, and really just their back end processes. So we really focus on process improvement, business process management, and overall efficiency. And we do that, what we call an end-to-end process of efficiency and productivity services. So we're on, I think, PlanIt Efficiency 5.0 now. We introduced the blinds in 2016. And again, when people think of productivity or efficiency, they usually think about tools or time management, things like that, but it's really more than that. It's, it encompasses a number of different things, like the people you work with, where you work, the tools that you're using, the software, all that, the way that you use them. And one of the things that impacts you physically is your environment. So we brought the blinds on to combat that part of the equation. The blinds are a solar blind product, and they, I'll show you, I have an example here. But they look like normal blinds, but they're actually a technology.
Yes. Okay.
So this window in the back, this one, that has it on, and the one on the opposite side doesn't. But if you notice, you can't tell the difference. So it allows in 90% of the light. So you don't lose that light, but it blocks 92% of the UV rays and 85% of the heat penetration that comes through your window. And I guess the best part for your operations or for businesses, commercial and residential, if you have a home office or just your home, is that it lowers your heating and cooling costs by 40%, roughly. So in the winter, it absorbs heat into the building, and then in the summer, it reflects it back out. So there's a switch them around.
Whoa, it's such like a win-win solution. And I would love to get your thoughts on kind of I want to call it a flood, but there's been more support for Black entrepreneurs. Are you feeling the impacts of those supports, or is it missing the mark in some way? And what could be improved to actually support you specifically? Like, you are the target market.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I see it. There's a lot of activity out there. There are a lot of programs, and everybody's super busy right now because you've got where there was like nothing coming at you, and you kind of have to dig to find some opportunities. Now it's like a fire hose, and it's like you can't stop it, or you can't control it. So everybody's super busy, and there are tons of opportunities. But like anything else, there's a flavor of the month element to it. And there are people that feel that if they tag the word Black onto anything, kind of like black shampoo, but it's not really, it's just Pantene with a Black person on the bottle. Right? So it's kind of,
Yes. Oh man.
it's kind of like that, right? There are a few programs or situations out there where they feel that that's what constitutes, being involved in the community or uplifting or empowering the community, when really what it comes down to is just window dressing. And that is very harmful because it's misleading, number one, but it gives people the perception that something is being done or that things are taking place, when in reality, they aren't. They're baseline. They're exactly the same as they were, and it's not worse. For instance, I don't know if people are aware that since the George Floyd shooting, and I'm not going to use him as the poster child for police shootings because God knows this has been happening in Canada for decades.
Before and after, exactly.
Yeah, it's just nice and convenient for people that just came on board. But anyways, this year there are actually more police shootings of Black men, of Black people, than there were before that incident.
Wow, come on.
Process that. Yeah, I want.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, because the impression out there, or the narrative out there, is that it's getting better when it's not. And we saw this happen with gun control. The news was saying there are more guns, when in fact the numbers were dropping like dramatically, and that's not what was reported. So, I mean, people kind of have to be mindful and aware and do some homework and be really observant and kind of see where there are inconsistencies, because if you look, they're very obvious. They're glaring almost. If you just kind of listen to what people are saying and what the media is saying sometimes, then you might get a skewed.
When entrepreneurs running their business and then something triggers or something happens, not like just a machine breaking, but you start to realize the disconnection in your operations. So when should an entrepreneur reach out to you to get things in order? Like, what typically are they observing that they can now realize that they need Kara's help?
So there are basically 3 stages. When we usually get people is, the house is burnt down and now for insurance.
Yes, oh no, that's right. Yes.
It's gone horribly wrong and you have no idea how to fix it.
Yes.
But ideally, pre-operational, or like in that first startup phase when you're just getting going, because it's like a house, right? You need to build a strong foundation in order for the rest of the structure to be stable and to, maintain itself. So if you can have those processes in place, if you can have your systems in place, have your operations running at a level where you're not, overly spending on your day-to-day stuff, because that cost gets passed on to your clients or your customers, right? Didn't mean to say it, but that's the ideal. But really, if you're in a growth stage, or if you're noticing that you're a solopreneur, or you have a small team and the capacity is building and building and building, and you can't maintain that anymore, then you want to look at scaling. And we also work with companies to scale, because if you're doing things, for example, if you're doing things manually, or if you're doing things that are suitable for 1 or 2 people at a time, and you try to duplicate that to manage or to service 10 people or a larger audience, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you don't have the right structure in place. You don't have the right systems in place, or you don't have any systems in place, which is usually the case. You may have 1 or 2, but you need a few more things in place to kind of get the machine running smoothly. So that would be the ideal thing. So either at a startup phase when you're just getting going, so you can put the right structures in place, or if you're finding that you don't have the capacity to service the amount of business that you're getting, then you want to look at scaling and putting.
Excellent. Love that. So you heard it. Do not wait for the house to burn down before you get the insurance. pre-plan or look at if you're busting at the seams, bring on an awesome expert like Kara to help you with your efficiencies. PlanIt Efficiency Solutions. Reach out, Facebook, website, all the underneath and above. Thank you so much, Kara, for being on BizGrams again. It was such a pleasure getting to talk to you and learn more about what you do and a bit about your boys too. We have to sit down and have a coffee so I could learn more about your two sons.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you so much, Ryan. It's a pleasure being back. And you know I'm always here. Absolutely.